Hello, it's vlog time again. And yeah, we're green screening. The weather's like crap out there. I thought I could have left it till tomorrow, but nah, it comes out on a Monday every 3 weeks. I'll keep it at that. Keep some sort of sequence due to my shifts. So yeah, we're on green screen on vlog 72. Wow. 72, and I do them every 3 weeks. That's not bad going, to be honest. Okay, so my rant this time isn't really major. It's just that now they expect us to recycle and split everything up for recycling, which means paper goes in one bin and tins go in another bin. So my call here is an open call out to manufacturers to stop gluing the labels so hard onto your tins because you can't get them off. If I can just get the label off simply, I can put that label into the paper bin, tin into the tin bin. When it's glued on like that, I gotta rip the bloody thing off, and it's no use for recycling because it's too badly damaged. It's gotta go in the normal bin. And I prefer to recycle it. So my open call to manufacturers, stop gluing the labels on so hard. There's no need. Some do it so they come off nice and easy. Others do it so you gotta bloody pull them off and oh dear, Prince's corned beef is about the worst, I think. It's glued on it just all the way round. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's not needed. Little bit of glue so we can get the bloody labels off. And also on the plastic packaging. Lucasade Sport, they used to do nice little rip tabs so you could get the unrecyclable plastic cellophane, polythene coating off and just put the rest of it into recycling. No, they don't, so I got to use a knife. Okay, it makes no difference with the recycling, but it's a pain in the ass. Especially if I slip and get arsenic poisoning. No, that's just not possible, is it? Anyway, so that's my little rant. Now, I don't have really an awful lot to talk about, so I've expanded on stuff. Now, a few weeks ago, I was on really early mornings. I had a 3:20 spare on a Saturday, which they gave me something about 5 o'clock. And then I went into work the next day. They went into work on the Friday and looked at it and it says 2 o'clock. I thought, are you trying to kill me? I actually went into resources and said, are you trying to kill me? And, but it was short. It was 5 hours on there. So it was a win anyway. But it was an even bigger win because when I found out what it was, I had to go in, finish off the end of the night shift. For the loco shed, and basically all I had to do was go in, shunt and prep the loco, take it up and finish. It was back in bed by 6 o'clock. And boy was I in bed. Went in on the Sunday then and feeling a bit rough. Caught COVID. Tested positive for COVID. Now, to be fair, I've had worse colds the way I felt during COVID. I think most of the family picked it up, but it was a mild dose. The biggest problem was when I went back to work 7 days after testing, I was mostly recovered, but getting tired quickly, and it was an early shift again. And basically, it half killed me through fatigue. Not a fault of the shifts this time, really. It's just coincidence the way things happened. But I've only just recovered. When I was doing my, when I had COVID and I was doing my live stream, I did do a live stream while I had COVID, and I was a tetchy bugger. I just couldn't get on with that game at all. That was Cyvern, I think. And then I did one last Friday, which was a bit better. I didn't feel like doing it before I started, but it was a fun one on the Commodore 64. The main challenge was Little Nippers Deluxe, and it was as boring as hell. It's okay for 5 minutes, but it was a 4K competition winner, so what to expect? In my opinion, bad choice for challenge, but it's what I play the cards I'm dealt. I've still got to do the Tubers challenge, which I'll probably get on with this week. It might even be today. Not one I'm looking forward to. It's another one similar. It's a shoot 'em up. I'd shoot 'em up, but we'll see how that one goes. I don't want to throw in my Joker this early in the season, but I'm tempted. Even with all the time I got, I'm tempted. That's Undead Line on the Sega Mega Drive. But we'll see on that one. Anyway, on with the rest. Now my computer's been playing up. Slow to boot. And what it is, it's a problem I've had for ages, but I thought I'd solved it with a new SATA card. But that problem started coming up again when I put the new NVMe card in. Storage isn't, no, it's not booting up correctly. So what I did was I stopped it from auto booting in what's called the file system tab, which is in my system is etc fs tab. Put no auto in everything. One of the partitions was still loading. What I've done now basically is I've got a script which will mount those drives automatically from one command, and everything's been fine since. But this one partition was mounting automatically, and I went deep into the system and found out that it was a service trying to start, which required VAR Games, which was the partition that was mounting automatically. Now it's not Windows, it's Linux. It's far more flexible than Windows. It just takes a little bit more expertise. And very, 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 very much not based on spyware. No ads, nothing. Just your control. But yes, and what it was, I found out, this service was NetHack Saves. NetHack, a very old rogue type game. It was to recover NetHack saves. Why does that need to run as a service? I disable the service and all is well. It don't mount anymore. Now what I plan to do is I plan to get the drive that's in there is a 2 terabyte spinning drive, and I plan to get a 2 terabyte SSD in Prime Day. For once, Prime Day comes at the time when I can actually use it. So I didn't get anything on Amazon on payday. I've been holding off till Prime Day, and hopefully I can get a deal on an SSD. See how that goes. It's lower power, so it may be, and it should be quicker starting up. So maybe that's the problem. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so note to self: cut out the coughing. So if you hear coughing, I've forgotten about it. If you don't hear coughing, I remembered. Right. Now, I was doing an update on my main virtual private server, and one of the things the Python, it said, I'm not going to update anymore. I ain't got a valid certificate. I went digging, and it was still running Debian 10, which is no longer supported at all. It reached end of life at the end of June. Now, why I don't like updating that is because Exim, they keep on mucking about with the config files. And so I didn't want to do that. So the first thing I did was update from 11 to 12 on my backup VPS. Exim seemed to run. I installed it, copied the config files over, Exim seemed to run fine. So I went back, did the updates, which went almost perfectly. There were a few little things. Updating a distro, 2 steps, is not necessarily going to be straightforward. In the end, it wasn't too bad. There was one little problem where I had to go searching to fix it, but I got that done. Exim ran. Did send a test email. Tainted part of this, tainted address. Oh no, I knew there was going to be something with it. I looked it up. The fix was quite simple. It was one line in the config. It was finding the right line that was the problem. But I did that. Everything working perfectly now. So everything is now bang up to date. I got many years now before I've got to update again, but I think I'll do distro updates now within a few weeks of the distro actually being released. So, and take the consequences. I managed to I had time off with COVID, so use that time. It just wasn't exactly the best time, but there we go. Got it all done. I also took the opportunity to update my, I added 2-factor authentication to my blog. Now, I don't have user signups, though if somebody wants an account on there for reading and commenting, they're welcome to it. The 2-factor authentication is optional, But yes, I've got two-factor authentication, especially for my admin account. Because even though I got a strong password, and I mean I've got a strong password, I've still got the username of admin, sadly. So two-factor authentication on there, and that worked perfectly. I've also got Squirrel on there, which nobody uses, even though it's a bloody good system for authentication. So yeah, blog up to date. Made sure my gallery's up to date, because that stopped working with the update. Even though it worked first time, and it came back and it was 500. Did that, I completely wiped the folder, got the latest gallery, put that on there. Reconfigured it with all my old files, and bang, gallery's working again. So all my stuff is good, it's up to date. Talking about getting other things up to date, I finally got around to, I think it was March, a beta version came out of the Wi-Fi Pi device for the Amiga. Amiga now, yeah. I've been using the 3Com network card for the PCMCIA. Yes, technical stuff. But yeah, I've been to get on the internet. So the Wi-Fi Pi device now supports WPA2 encryption. It's a little bit clunky to set up, but I got that set up and it works. Not as fast as I was expecting, to be perfectly honest, but it does give me 3 times the speed of the one that was plugged in, and it don't mess around with WHD load games. The other one, when I had the TCP stack up, you run WHD load games and it would really mess about with them, so I don't have to worry about it. Just let it set up, close one error window, and it all works. But yeah, it worked fine on Caffeine Horse. Caffeine, I just selected Wi-Fi Pi device, install Wi-Fi, and it asked me for my SSID. There's no auto scan. Asked me for my SSID and password, and bang, in. So that worked absolutely perfect. I did have to reboot. But yeah, that was easy. I'll leave the other ones because they don't need it. I mean, Mega AGS is still an out-of-date one because the newer ones don't work with the Pi. But yeah, that's all good now. And right, yeah, one last thing for my own stuff is I finally got rid of all the junk from the garden. I got a few boards out there, still boards from old wardrobes, but I'm using them so they're not junk. And it's lovely out there now. Still going to get it landscaped next year. Still going to get a new shed. The shed will be concreted in. The pool area will be paved over with nice padding down. So yeah, it's all coming along. It's much better now. I'll probably get the garden gate done at the same time, because one of the poles there is quite the pole that's to the fence is sort of rotted. I think when it was put in, it didn't have decent damp proofing. We've had the saga with the fence a few months ago. But yeah, a garden is all good. Sweet. So yeah, I managed to get it done in between rain. So even though it had been raining, because the weather is quite warm and generally dry in the air when it's not raining, it was okay to mow. It didn't cause any problems. Which just leaves the shout out. And this time I'm going to give a shout out to Gouldfish On Games. He does lots of retro stuff, classic hardware, mainly Amiga. There's lots of game cover discs. Occasionally streams on Twitch, but I'll post both links just in case to Gouldfish On Games. Has been a games designer from 2008. Worked on games such as Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows on the Wii, for instance. So yeah, he's decent guy. Very long beard, very thin beard. as part of his image. And go give Gouldfish a subscribe. Follow him on Twitch. All round good guy. Well done, Gouldfish. And that's it now. The war in Ukraine still goes on, so we'll finish with the Ukraine flag as an acknowledgement. Also acknowledging the war in the Middle East. But I don't want to clutter up my stream, as bad as things are over there. The less said about the States, the better. The States are in a state. Hours have changed. But have they? We shall see. The Labour have got a lot to prove. And that's about it. I don't want to bog us down with politics, but got to acknowledge it. And until the next one, have fun. Ta-ra, now, look after yourselves.